It's going to be a busy day tomorrow, so I got my can cozy all ready for tomorrow. There's a Space Coyote on one side and a Space Coyote on the other. All right, so we've got 13 games tomorrow, and there's not a lot of time in between games, so yeah, I'm going to try to get the reviews done, because I want to do a review of the first 4 games and then the last 9, because I don't want to be doing a review of 13 games, which could end up being over an hour with the way I don't shut up. So yeah, I'm going to try to split this up, and I'm going to hope there's enough time in between this game and the start of all of this to get a review done for these. So, and I don't have enough boards to do a board for each game so I could review each game on its own. I don't have enough board for that. Nor would I have the time tomorrow to do that either. So fingers crossed that I'll figure this out. Starting at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. What I'll do is I'll have these 4 on a board, same as I do for regular review, and fingers crossed that I can get that done before these all start. So 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, we get the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New Jersey Devils. Pittsburgh's 18-11-1. New Jersey's 10-13-4. New Jersey, of course, won this matchup last night. So we'll see whether or not Saturday sees any kind of change here. Jake Gensel, 12 goals, 15 assists for the Penguins. He's having an amazing season. Dumoulin makes a big difference defensively when he's in the lineup. He's only got 4 assists in the games he played. His game goes well beyond points. On the New Jersey side, Palmieri, who is going to be talked about between now and the trade deadline, about where he might go. Are they going to re-sign him? What's going to happen? We'll see. 4 goals, 9 assists for Palmieri. He would be a very good pickup for somebody if they have the cap space to make it happen. Ty Smith on the blue line, 2 goals, 12 assists for him. He has been very good in his rookie season. New Jersey fans pretty excited to see what he does throughout his career. And then 1 hour later, so at 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. Pacific, everything will be done at about 11 p.m. Pacific, I think. But yeah, at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, the Nashville Predators in against Florida. Nashville's 13-6-1. Florida's 19-6-4. Florida's won 3 out of 5 in this matchup between these two. So if Nashville's going to really get back into the race, they have to hope these guys lose, and they have to win this game. Yarncroke had a couple of goals last game. He's now got 9 goals and 6 assists. Can he stay hot? And Dante Fabro, 2 goals and 8 assists on the blue line. He's been pretty solid when he's been in there. Barkov, 12 goals, 22 assists, 34 points for Barkov. Yes, he is one of the best two-way forwards in the game. And Mackenzie Weegar, who's on a bit of a point streak, 2 goals and 16 assists for him. He's putting up tremendous points right now. We'll see how long that lasts. An hour later, 3 o'clock Eastern, which is noon Pacific, we get Minnesota in against Colorado. So Minnesota has to be smarting from that thumping they took yesterday. They're 18-9-1. Colorado's 18-8-2. Colorado's won 3 out of 5. Minnesota needs to win this game. Zuccarello, 5 goals, 15 assists. He did have a helper in the last one. Ryan Suter just has the 9 assists. They could use a goal from him if he can make that work. On the Colorado side, McKinnon's heating up goal-wise. He's at 9 goals, 19 assists now. And Devon Taves on the blue line, 4 goals, 12 assists, having an excellent season for Colorado. An hour later, 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific, we have Chicago and Tampa. So Chicago, 14-12-5. The Tampa Bay Lightning, 21-6-2. Tampa Bay has won 5 out of 6 in these matchups. So Chicago needs this win. So I'm wearing a Chicago jersey because I think, sure, why not? We'll see what happens. DeBrincat, 15 goals, 15 assists for 30 points. Great season for him. Duncan Keith, 1 goal, 11 assists. Feels like he's producing better than he did last year. Killorn, 8 goals, 11 assists. He's a guy that gets a lot of key goals for a team in Tampa that has a lot of scoring depth. And Sergachev, 2 goals, 18 assists. Hedman, best defenseman in the league, sure. Sergachev, that's just the way that works. You play with the best defenseman in the league. It likely helps your game, but it hurts your Norris chances. And then at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific, we got 6 games starting at that time. That's why I need to get this review for these 4 games done before these ones get going, or I'm not going to have time. Rangers in against the Capitals. The Rangers now 12-13-4 after the loss tonight. The Capitals 26-4. The Rangers have won 2 out of 3. Ryan Strome, 10 goals, 12 assists for 22 points for him. And Keandre Miller, 2 goals, 5 assists for 7 points. The scoring hasn't been where it was at the start of the year, but you know what? He's a good defenseman. Scoring's just a part of the story. Ovechkin, he's heating up. 12 goals, 11 assists. Here we go. And Brendan Dillon, 1 goal, 7 assists. Probably producing a little bit more than might have been expected. Also, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, we get the Philadelphia Flyers and the New York Islanders. The Flyers have won all 3 meetings. They don't know what the big fuss is about the Islanders. The Flyers are 15-10-3. The Islanders 19-8-4. I think the Islanders bounce back tomorrow, get their 20th win, but we'll see. Van Riemsdyk, 13 goals, 16 assists. Continues to be a really good story for the Philadelphia Flyers. Sanheim, defensively, he's had his challenges over the last week. He has a goal and 8 assists. We'll see if he gets it going or if they change up the defensive pairings or what Alain Vigneault is going to do. Barzal, 9 goals, 15 assists for him. He is the dynamic forward for the New York Islanders. And on the blue line, Sebastian Aho is a fill-in. Not too bad. 3 games, 1 goal, 1 assist. That's how it works as a fill-in. You get 2 points in 3 games. You might get more games under Barry Trotz. Then at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific as well, we get the 12-12-7 Columbus Blue Jackets in against the 27-2 Carolina Hurricanes. Again, Columbus, Nashville, they're both going to be looking and hoping that Chicago loses because they really want to get back into this race and make it a lot closer than what it's been. Roslovic, 5 goals, 14 assists. If he could get hot again for Columbus, that helps. On the blue line, Werenski, 3 goals, 10 assists. It's been a down year for both Werenski and Jones, just from where we normally expect them to be. But Werenski's still an excellent defenseman. Niederreiter, 13 goals, 7 assists. There's that secondary scoring for Carolina. The teams that are at the top seem to get more secondary scoring than the teams that aren't. And it's a video that I want to do at some point, and it'll happen. Jake Bean, 1 goal, 9 assists for 10 points for Jake Bean. So he's been very good in his rookie year, and quietly so. When we talk about rookie class and guys playing really well, Bean's name doesn't really come up very often. And then also at 7 Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific, Detroit's not going at a 4:30 start. I don't know what's going on in Detroit, but they're at a regular start time. They've lost 2 out of 3 against Dallas, but of course they won the most recent game. Dallas is now 9-10-7, so they've won 19 and lost 17. Winning 9 out of 26 is not a recipe for success. Dallas has that record. Detroit has 10-17-4 as theirs. They dug themselves to a major hole early on, and now they're trying to dig their way out of it. And you know what? They're playing well. Detroit's playing well. You take them lightly, you're probably going to lose. Jamie Benn, 5 goals and 10 assists. I know there's discussions about how he's not producing very well. He didn't produce very well last year either. He's a streaky scorer, and at this point, he is not one of the best forwards in the league as he was a few years back. And it's a matter of now the younger crowd for Dallas has to step up. Klingberg, 5 goals, 13 assists. He's been excellent on the blue line. He and Heiskanen are the 2 guys that make that blue line go. On the Detroit side, Fabry, coming off of a hat trick, now has 9 goals and 6 assists. He's in the midst of a good season himself. And Stetcher, a goal and 5 assists. Solid addition for the Detroit Red Wings. I'm glad to see he's doing well, and he seems to be enjoying himself in Detroit. 7 Eastern, his former team Vancouver in against Montreal again. This is the final meeting. Montreal's now won 5 out of 8. The key thing is, though, the 3 that they've lost, all in extra time. So they have accumulated 13 points against Vancouver. Vancouver's accumulated 6 against Montreal. So that's a 7-point difference right there. And if Montreal ends up finishing ahead of Vancouver, we may look back at their head-to-head matchups and say that's where things fell apart for Vancouver. But again, Vancouver, 8 wins in their last 10. VC was solid tonight, didn't end up getting a point, but I thought he played well. 5 goals, 2 assists. It can be a great motivator when a team dumps you to try to prove them wrong. So maybe that'll be something that helps VC go. And also, he may realize this is his last chance. If it doesn't work out in Vancouver and Vancouver ends up severing ties with him, he may not have an NHL job next year. Quinn Hughes, 2 goals, 24 assists for him, 26 points. He had an assist tonight. And overall, Hughes is playing better, even though the offense isn't where it was at the start of the season. Gallagher, 11 goals, 7 assists. Man, if you got almost goals as a stat, I swear Gallagher would be one of the top guys in the league. And Shea Weber, 5 goals, 7 assists. He's had some almost recently as well. So we'll see if Montreal, who are now 13-8-9, 0-9 in extra time, which is not great. You can look at it and say, well, they have 9 points in overtime, or you can say they lost 9. So instead of having it being closer to 18 points if they'd won them all, they're at 9 because they lost them all. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Calgary And Toronto also starts at 7 Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. So the 15-13-3 Flames, who are now 4-1 under Daryl Sutter, in against the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are now 19-10-2. Toronto's won 3 out of 5 in this series, but Calgary tonight let them know, hey, we're for real. And I thought the way that Calgary shut that game down in the third period was impressive. We'll see if they can do it again. Monahan, 7 goals, 13 assists. I'm still waiting on Monahan's scoring to really elevate in Calgary. Chris Tanev, 2 goals, 3 assists. He's not a scorer, but he's been really, really solid for them defensively when they're playing well. Austin Matthews was denied a couple of times tonight. We'll see if that comes back to haunt Calgary tomorrow. 21 goals, 15 assists, 36 points. And again, the goal scoring's fallen off a little bit for Matthews from where it was early in the year. And Morgan Riley, now with 3 goals, 21 helpers for 24 points on the blue line. And solid all-around play for them on the Maple Leafs. But we'll see. If Calgary wins this game tomorrow night against Toronto, then it might be the time to start panicking if you're the Leafs. Because they're all divisional games and you're letting everybody get close. As an example, Vancouver now being 6 points behind the division-leading Toronto Maple Leafs, who have played less games, 3 less games than Vancouver, but still, that's a lot closer than Vancouver was, say, 3-4 weeks ago. So then at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, we get one game started here. It's Arizona in against the Anaheim Ducks. Arizona 12-13-5. The Ducks 9-16-6. Arizona's won 3 out of 5. So Anaheim won this matchup last night. We'll see if they can do it again. Garland, 9 goals, 15 assists, 24 points for Connor Garland. And Chychrun on the blue line, 7 goals and 12 assists for Chychrun. He's, again, he's really taken over that blue line. He's really made it his own. And it'll be interesting to see just what his ceiling really is. I don't think he's got there yet. Lundestrom has had opportunities the last few games. We'll see if he gets one. 5 goals, 2 assists for Lundestrom. And Cam Fowler, 2 goals and 11 assists on the blue line. It feels like Anaheim's offense is starting to percolate, but it goes to sleep too often, and we'll see if they have a really good start tomorrow or not. And then at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific, St. Louis and San Jose will finish off their back-to-backs. 15-10-5 for San Jose, 11-13-4, or 15-10-5 for St. Louis, 11-13-4 for San Jose. This is the final meeting between these teams. St. Louis is 4-3. If they can beat them again, they win 5 out of 8. For San Jose fans, that would be frustrating. For St. Louis fans, A-okay. Perron, 11 goals, 18 assists. Excellent forward, crashes the net a lot. And Vince Dunn, 3 goals, 6 assists. He's another one that seems to have a lot of almosts. And, that could have gone in on his resume lately. On the San Jose side, Meyer, 6 goals, 13 assists for Timo Meyer. And Erik Karlsson, 2 goals, 8 assists. You know what? I thought he had decent drive tonight in the overtime. We'll see. It feels like for Karlsson, the numbers should start getting better. The problem is we've been saying that for like a year and a half. So, but it still feels like they should start getting better. And then the last game, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific, the 18-10-2 Winnipeg Jets in against the 20-13 Edmonton Oilers. So the Oilers with 40 points, Toronto with 40 points. If Toronto loses, Edmonton wins. Edmonton's first in the division. For Winnipeg right now, 2 points back of Toronto. And again, if they can win, Toronto loses. Now, if they win in overtime, right, that could drop Toronto down to what, 3rd in the division tomorrow night at this time. That would be crazy, right? So yeah, Toronto doesn't want to see a 3-point game here between these two teams. Do they cheer for Winnipeg or Edmonton or neither? So anyways, yeah, very interesting to see what happens. Edmonton's won 3 out of 5 between these two. Stastny, 9 goals and 9 assists. Streaky scorer as is the case with him. Pionk, 3 goals, 20 assists. Excellent points from the blue line for Neil Pionk. And Nugent Hopkins, 11 goals, 14 assists, 25 points. I do think at times, and this is how this works, right? You get fan bases that might overhype the player a bit. Nugent Hopkins, though, has been excellent for the last couple of seasons. And Ethan Bear, 3 assists for him. He's had an up-and-down run, but still, the defensive side of the game, he's solid. And, of course, there's one game postponed. So the Kevin Magnet comes back from the office. The one game postponed, because people say, well, the NHL, they've screwed this up, and here we go again. So Boston Buffalo is delayed. I haven't heard anything more about any other Buffalo games being delayed. So there was one player in COVID protocol before last night's game. They played the game, which tells me they probably did rapid tests before the game. And now there's 4 players in total that are in protocol for Boston, and they've been shut down. So the game between Boston and Buffalo doesn't happen tomorrow. I haven't seen anything about anybody on the Buffalo Sabres being in any kind of protocol yet. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. And of course, if this happens to Buffalo again, it happened to them against New Jersey. Keep in mind, because I've seen people saying that's it, they should just shut down the season. Why are they playing? Because over the next couple of months, all of the players in the States will be getting vaccinated who want to. That will happen by the end of May. So we're, a little past the middle of March. We've still got all these games being played and one team right now that's being affected and having their games delayed. There's no reason to try to shut things down. There's no reason right now to even have that discussion. This is why teams are only playing divisions. This is why teams aren't traveling. This is why we have the schedule that we have. So I'm very encouraged that at this point, a month after we saw some pretty major shutdowns going on, we've only got the one right now, which is Boston. As far as I've seen, Buffalo, as of yet, not shut down. Just they're not playing tomorrow night. And Boston's game against the Islanders, I believe it is, on Monday, has been postponed as well. So we'll see what the NHL does with those games. They've still got other games that were postponed that they haven't announced makeup dates for, and this is probably why. They want to have maximum ability to move games around as need be. And keeping in mind that most buildings in the U.S. side of the border right now are allowing some fans, some limited attendance, you want to make sure that you're not moving the games around quite as willy-nilly as you were early in the season when there were almost no fans in attendance. So, we'll see what happens tomorrow. And there will be time for me to do a news video tomorrow during this earliness, but getting the review of these 4 games is going to be key, so that I don't have a review of 13 games in one video, then a power rankings, then a preview for Sunday, because that'd be insane. All right, thank you guys so much for all your support. It means a ton. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. It is a full day Saturday, so if you have NHL Center Ice or if you watch streams, however you may watch them, you can have a really full day tomorrow, hockey wall to wall. And when there's games that aren't as overlapped as these ones really kind of aren't tomorrow, it's easier to pay attention to all of these games that are going on. So if you're just watching teams in your division, tomorrow's a good day to branch out. Watch other teams. And see how things are going in other divisions too. Because at some point in the playoffs, you're hoping that your team emerges from their division, and then you get a good idea for who might be emerging from the other divisions, who you might have to worry about there. All right. Thank you guys so much for everything. It means a ton. I will talk to you again soon.